Hey everybody, what's going on today? Good credit. What is it? Why you need it? And more importantly, how do you get it? That's right, it's your favorite veteran banker. Well, probably only veteran banker that you know. Not just a veteran banker, you're a veteran banker. Larry, today we're going to talk about good credit. The myth. What is good credit? How do you get it? Why do you need it? This is a question that I've had people ask me, probably one of the most reoccurring questions while I was in the branches. And ever since I got in the bank, that's something that people have asked me. How do I get good credit? How do I get an 800 FICO score? How do I get A1 credit? How do I get a 750 FICO score? How do I get over 700?
How low can the credit score go?
How high can a credit score go?
All these random questions about credit scores. Everybody just wants perfect credit. So first things first, what is good credit? Now, if you remember before, we talked about credit. Credit is how much somebody can trust you. It's not exact science. Your credit score is how much somebody's opinion of how much you can be trusted turned into a number. The problem with that is it's very subjective. So how do I get perfect credit? I'm gonna give you the secret sauce. I'm gonna tell you how you get perfect credit. Got a pencil out, got a piece of paper out. Write this down. There's no such thing as perfect credit. Doesn't exist. It's a myth. It is a work of fiction. That is something that nobody in the finance industry is going to just come right out and tell you. There's no such thing as perfect credit. It doesn't matter. That's not a thing. You can't have perfect credit. Now, let's just get that out your head right now. I don't care if you call it perfect, A1, great. I don't care whatever number you call it. 760, 780, 775, 800, 825, 850, 900. There's no such thing as perfect credit. Get that out your head right now. Let's just take that off the table. So if someone came into the branch, and as you know, even when I wasn't in the branch, now people ask me like, hey Larry, how can I fix my credit with good credit? My first question is always, why? What are you trying to do? See, nobody wants perfect credit just to have perfect credit. You don't walk around with your FICO score on a piece of paper like, ew, got that 800. Like that's not something that people do. And if you did, that's weird. Stop it. Nobody likes that. Don't be that person. But there's no such thing as perfect credit, and why you need it's gonna matter. Because let's say you want to buy a house. You can get a house with a 620. You don't need perfect credit. Let's say you want to buy a car. You can get a car with like a 630, 640. I mean, if you want to pay a whole bunch of interest, you can get a car with less than that. Let's say you want one of those fancy metal credit cards. Insert image of credit card here. I mean, depending upon the card and who issues it, you can get that with like a 620, 640, maybe like 700 if you want like a nice Amex. Maybe you're young and you want to go to school. It's like, all right, I want to go to college. I know how to take out loans. What credit score do I need for that? Fun fact, federal loans don't have a credit score requirement. I'm not kidding. Down in the description, I'll leave a link to the actual FAFSA website. There's no credit score requirement. So if you noticed amongst all those things, I didn't say 8, anything. And the only time 70 even came up was for like a fancy credit card. See, people have this misconception that you need fantastic credit. And I'm like, for what? Anyone who's been in banking, anyone who understands how credit works, realize that credit is just a tool. Now, what it is you're trying to do is going to help me determine how it is to help you. If you say, hey, Larry, I want to get me a fancy black metal credit card, then that's a different, score that we got to aim for versus I want to buy a house. Well, depending upon your situation, you can get a house like a 620. So there's no need to spend all this time like fighting to put together like this fantastic portfolio and time and energy. You don't need all that. Doesn't matter. But okay, I can hear you now. Whatever, Larry, I don't care. I still want a good one. Now, you can go on YouTube and you go search for a good credit score and you'll find no less than several dozen people throwing up all sorts of numbers. 720, over 800, how to put it. If your score begins with anything other than like a 7, call me. Like all these people are trying to sell you on things that boost your credit score. Let's be clear. You don't have to pay anyone to fix your credit. There's a federal law that mandates that you can look at your report directly from the 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, and they will tell you what they have reported for you. So there's no need to pay somebody for these things. There's a reason why everybody has a different interpretation. It's an opinion. It's not exact science. So what is good credit depends on what you want to do with it. But all right, I hear you. You still want to get good credit because you want to buy a house, a car, take out a student loan, whatever it is that you need to do. Fine. So you want to get good credit. Fair enough. I'm gonna help you out. Now, if you want good credit, there is no one size fits all formula. Hate to break it to you, that's not how it works, because your credit's gonna be different from that person's credit and that person's credit, and my credit, and like my cousin credit and my auntie credit. So everybody's credit profile is different because everybody's life is different. But if you want to get a higher score, essentially there are about 3 things that you need to do right now. If you ain't got a pen and paper, get it out. If you quick like that, it might be the remedies. And remember, some of these may apply to you, some of them won't. Number 1, you need to check your credit score. And I don't mean through Experience app. I don't mean through Credit Karma. I don't mean through Mint or Wells Fargo or whatever third party it is. No. FreeOnlineCreditReport.com, or I'll have it linked in the description below. It's a federal mandate that everyone in America gets to look at their credit report directly from all 3 bureaus. You need that because you need to know exactly what's on there. If you haven't checked it, you need to check it directly from them. Now, I'm not saying those other places are inaccurate. They may have some of it. They may have all of it. We're going directly to the source. If you haven't done this before, you need to do it. Now, each one, when you go to the site, it's going to take you to each site, like TransUnion site, Equifax, and Experian. They're going to ask you challenge questions to ensure that you're you. So you need to have an idea what's on your report. If you don't, there's ways around it. But step number 1, look at the damn thing. We need to know what's on there so you know we're working it. Because you may currently have a 720 and be shooting for 800. Or you may be at like 400 just trying to get out the basement. That's cool. We still need to look at it. That's step 1. Step 2, losing the anchors if you got them. What does that mean? Bad things on your report will bring you down further than good things will lift you up. So any negative items on there, if you got collections, delinquencies, you got to focus on that stuff first. Some people may say, well, let's get you as a cosigner on this or as you off. No. The bad stuff has to go first, period. If you bought something, let's say you got a store credit card, you ran it up and you decide you weren't going to pay, you did that. You need to have it. You need to pay them people that money, period. Now, some people may say there's ways around it. You can write them letters, blah, blah, blah. Whoever it is that you owe money to, you need to pay them. That's all it is to it. You could try to finagle something. You could try to hustle your way through it. You could try to pay somebody else to BS it. Nah. You owe somebody some money. You bought a bunch of stuff. Pay for it. I mean, y'all know how I am. I'm not going to lie to you like that. That's plain and simple what it is. You need to focus on the negative items first. Anybody you owe money to that's in collections, delinquency, judgment, deal with that first. The bad things will bring you down further than good things will lift you up. I hope that makes sense. Step 3, I need you to go right below this video, tap the like button. That's not going to raise your score, but it ain't going to hurt. It's definitely going to help with your Larry FICO Score Plus. See, your credit score with me is going to go up because I'm going to trust you a little bit more because you like the video. It won't hurt. And again, you ain't got to destroy the like button. Gently tap the like button. That's all I'm saying. But honestly, number 3 isn't touch the like button. Number 3 is going to be step off of the limit. Now, what does that mean? If you got any max credit cards, you got to pay them down. And understand that a max credit card does not mean that it is fully maxed out. If you're more than 90% utilized, that is considered a maxed out credit card. This is a bad thing. You got to focus on the bad stuff first. So let me give you some quick and dirty math. Let's say a credit card has a $1,000 limit and you owe more than $900 on it. You are more than 90% using what they gave you. That card is considered maxed out. You're taking a hit from it. I don't care if you get it down to 850. You got to get it beneath that 90% utilization rate, that 90% max. You got to be beneath that. Once you get over that, you're losing points on your score. Ideally, your total card should be less than like 10%. But, that's in-game stuff. If you focus on negative things, any cards that are over 90%, they got to get paid down lower. If you don't have any cards that are max, any cards that are over 30%, got to pay them down. Anytime you get over those thresholds, those numbers at 30% and at 90%, you taking a hit, Kimosabi. You got to fix that. So those are the 3 things that you can do like right now if you have less than perfect credit, or even if you're trying to get to that next echelon of credit. Those are the things that you can do now. Now, there are other things that are a lot more minor that you really don't have a lot of control of that will affect your score. Now, you can't change these, but I'm going to still tell you what they are so you be mindful of them. Number 1, don't close out no old accounts. See, when they look at your report, they look at the the average age of it. So if you got one account that's like super old, then everything else is kind of new. Like my report, I got stuff from like 10 years ago when I started, then it kind of didn't open no accounts for a while. I opened up a bunch of stuff recently. Those old accounts help bring the average age of everything, make it older. So any old accounts, like old credit cards, I don't care if the limit is $250. Unless it's got like some stupid high fee or some other crap going on with it, don't close old accounts. You need those. They help make the age of your profile older. Old profiles have higher scores. That's all there is to it. Number 2, stop begging people. Stop asking people for credit. If you are trying to raise your score, stop asking people. That means applying for credit cards, applying for car loans, applying for mortgages. Every time you ask somebody for something, they have to do an inquiry when they go look at your credit. You take a hit for those. Too many of them too fast, your score will drop. So if you're trying to get a higher score, stop asking people for money. The more people you ask, even if they say no, you still take a hit. If you ask 10 people for a credit card, people, I mean organizations, banks, whatever, you ask 10 banks for credit cards, all 10 say no, your score is going down. You're not helping. just so we clear on that. If you're trying to fix it, stop asking people. Close your mouth, close your hands, stop asking people. Last and most certainly not least, this is the most important thing of all. If you made it this far, these are the keys to the kingdom. As somebody working in banking, I help people fix credit profiles, bunch of people in my family, friends, people all the way out in Cali, East Coast, North, South, wherever. Pay your bills, man. Like that seems really simple, but payment history is the biggest contributing factor. Don't borrow money you can't pay back. Don't buy stuff you can't afford. Paying your bills on time is the easiest, most effective, and most impactful way to increase your credit rating. That's all there is to it. If you can pay bills on time, your credit score will go up. Now, that doesn't mean all bills report. Like, I live in an apartment. My apartment does not report to my credit bureau. So paying it on time kind of doesn't matter for credit reasons. Unless I'm missing, I get evicted, my score goes to crap. But anything like credit cards, car notes, you got a mortgage, you took out a personal cash loan, that stuff has to be paid on time. That is how you raise your score. Pay your bills. That's all there is to it. You gotta pay them on time. I don't care if you take one credit card to pay another. That's bad. You are in a bad place, let's be clear. But you gotta pay those bills on time. Late payments are gonna crush you. And if you're missing payments, those eventually turn into those negative items we talked about before, and they're gonna drag your score into the mud. All right? So we went over those things, those 6 things that you can do. That's what's those are the things that you can do that are gonna help your credit score. Now, not all of them gonna apply to everybody. If you got like a 720, maybe you don't have any negative things. Maybe your credit score is underneath 500. I used to kid when I was, back in my 20s, say my credit score was a gun, it was 357. I thought it was funny. Bad credit's not cute. It's not. I can admit that now. It's not cute. So all those things won't apply to everybody. So you got to tweak it depending upon your specific situation and what's unique to you. But those are the things that are going to help you the most. Hey, if you got bad credit, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're bad at adulting or bad at life. Life happens. It does. Like random things come up, hospital bills, an emergency. You do what you got to do. It doesn't make you a bad person. Everybody makes mistakes. But that's why your credit, it's going to go up and down. It's going to move. It's going to be fluid, just like your life is. So if it's bad, that's cool. You just got to fix it. Got some work to do. Now, you can do it yourself. Now, if you want to go pay somebody for it, which I advise against, because I think that's just money you don't have. If you got bad credit, it means you owe people money. You don't have money to pay people because you owe other people money. So long story short, there's no such thing as perfect credit. There's good enough credit, as in it's good enough for what you want to do. Don't let credit dictate or let it influence or impact who you are or what type of person you think you are. Credit is just a tool that's used to get to that next step. You want to buy a house? Fine. Let's get your credit good enough to get you a house. And that's it. Like that's all that matters, is understanding credit is a tool. And it doesn't have to be great, doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be good enough for what I want it to do. So down below, if you're feeling brave, let me know what your credit score is. I mean, in all honesty, it don't matter what your credit score is because it's going to change. Like my credit score in the last 5 years has gone as low as like 600 and as high as like 750. It fluctuates. That's what credit does. It's going to go up, it's going to go down. And when I need it to be higher, I'll do the things that I was talking about to make it higher for it to be good enough for whatever it is that I want to do. But that's the secret sauce. That's the hidden truth. There's no such thing as perfect credit, and it only has to be good enough for whatever you want to use it for. So I'm Larry. I'm not just a veteran banker. I'm your veteran banker. I'm here with y'all trying to make sense of all this finance stuff so we can all do better at it. Don't let credit drag you down. If you owe people a bunch of money, it happens. We gonna get through this. You got questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments below. You want to shoot me a message directly, we can chop it up and I'll help you the best that I can. You know, from me, you're going to get the truth. That's all there's to it. You may not like it, but it's the truth. So we remember, there's no such thing as perfect credit. It's only good enough. And your credit might already be good enough for whatever it is that you want to do. All right, man, I'm Larry. I'll talk to y'all later.